With the Swift Go 14 laptop, Acer crammed impressive performance into an affordable thin and light with a gorgeous OLED display. You'll just have to learn to live with the keyboard. Coming as a surprise ultra-portable laptop, the Acer Swift Go 14 starts at $799.99. $1,099.99 is tested. Looks like the same basic notebook the company has pumped out for several years now, with a design we've seen a half dozen times. However, Acer has done something special this time. It placed impressive hardware inside to drive a gorgeous high-resolution OLED display. That all gives the Acer Swift Go 14 a lot going for it as an $1,100 laptop and gives little quarter to machines like the Dell XPS 13, 9315, and Lenovo Yoga 9i Gen 8 when it comes to the full value on offer. Only a ho-hum keyboard keeps it from soaring higher. The Acer Swift Go 14 is terribly unassuming, so much so that I almost called it an Acer Aspire in writing this paragraph. Acer is squeezing every drop out of this laptop design, as I've seen it on most of the Acer everyday laptops I've tested in the last several years. It's robust enough with a metal chassis, a firm hinge that doesn't wiggle much, and only a subtle flex to the keyboard deck. This model has trimmed the bezels around the display a bit to squeeze in a 16:10 screen instead of 16:9. The surface-mounted vent above the keyboard is more fitting on this model than some others I've tested, though, as it has an actually powerful processor to keep cool. Unfortunately, the design means the Acer Swift Go 14 gets the same keyboard setup as some much cheaper machines. It's not horrific, but the convex keycaps are hard to feel at home on, and they have a little too much wiggle in the corners to feel perfectly dependable. The key layout also squeezes a fingerprint reader onto the power button in the top right corner, displacing the delete in an error-encouraging way. Likewise, the arrow keys get stuffed into a tight little bundle in the bottom right corner that can be harder to use. Acer doesn't seem to know how big or heavy its own machine is. I'm used to seeing weights not line up, as different configurations can measure differently, but I found a considerable difference between what Acer reported and what I measured, with Acer suggesting a 2.76-pound package in 0.59-inch depth, while I found it to weigh 2.9 pounds and measure 0.73-inch in depth, all using precise digital calipers and scale. On its website, Acer lists 5 different Swift Go 14 configurations, though the one we've reviewed here is not listed. Instead, we were able to find it on retailer websites like Amazon and Walmart. Most configurations are quite similar, starting out with a 13th generation Intel Core i5 CPU with 8 GB of RAM and a 512 GB SSD, and going up to a Core i7 H series CPU with 16 GB of RAM and a 1 TB SSD. What's important to note is that models selling for under $1,000 come with a 1080p LCD display, while those above $1,000 have a sharper OLED display. The 14-inch OLED display on the Acer Swift Go 14 has a 2880 by 1800 pixel or 1800p resolution that's exceedingly crisp at the size. It also refreshes at 90 Hz to provide smooth scrolling and visuals. The display's glossy finish is prone to glare, but the panel can get plenty bright to provide decent visibility in spite of this. Acer also lists a model for $1,199.99 with the same internals but an even sharper 200 by 800 pixel screen, though we haven't seen it elsewhere. Despite reusing its older designs, Acer is clearly sneaking in upgrades. Another is the fingerprint reader in the power button, and one more is a fairly sharp webcam recording at 1440p resolution. Please subscribe to my channel for more videos.